What if your next client already told the world that they need your help publicly? However, almost nobody is actually paying attention to those signals. In this video, I'll show you exactly where to find those hidden opportunities. This is the same approach used to generate 22 placements in 55 days for a staffing firm, 39 placements in 90 days for a manufacturing recruiter, $105,000 for an AI talent recruiter, $85,000 for an automation supplier, 5 new clients in 48 days for an edtech company, $70,000 in 3 months for an esports organization connecting brands to sponsorship deals. Different industries, different services, but the same underlying approach, which is all of them reached the exact companies that needed their service at the exact moment they needed it. If you don't know me, I'm Tushar. I'm the co-founder of Develop and Transform. We are a market access firm. The simplest way I can explain what we do is we operate like referrals, but there's a system behind it. We don't rely on cold outreach. We start by filtering for actual active demand in the market. We monitor signals to gather the intent of the market and the decision makers to get you those highly intentional conversations that results into those long-term partnerships. This is what this video covers. Every signal type that tells you a company has active pressing need for what you sell right now. How to find them, how to reach the exact decision makers, how to write the outreach, and how to build a system around all of this so it runs on a schedule instead of whenever you happen to feel like it. 6 signals, then how to stack all of them, then the exact process for going from signal to booked meetings. I'm telling you, take your notepads out because the value I'm dropping is insane. Let's get into it. Most people think their outreach fails because their copy is bad, or the subject line is wrong, or they're not following up enough. The actual problem is earlier than all of those. They are sending to the companies that do not even need anything right now. Think about how a hospital triad system works. A nurse does not treat every person who walks through the door as the same priority. She's reading urgency signals. Is this person fine in the next 6 hours? Or do they need a surgeon right now? The entire routing decision is based on what is happening at this moment, not on the patient's history. Right? Most B2B outreach does the exact opposite. It picks the companies based on static attributes. Industry, company size, location. Those filters tell you who a company is. They do not tell you what a company actually needs today. And that gap is exactly why most cold outreach gets ignored. At any given moment, roughly 3 to 4% of the target market is actively looking for what you sell. They have a live problem. Budget is moving, there is urgency. The other 96% have no pressing reason to even engage. They might need you like in 4 months from now. They might have just bought from a competitor. You do not know that. And when you send to all of them in the same way, you spend 96% of your effort on people who have no immediate reason to care. Signal-based targeting fixes this. Instead of asking whether a company fits in your ideal customer profile, you ask whether a company is in motion right now. The signals answer those questions. The best outreach in the world cannot fix a bad targeting layer underneath it. So signal 1, job postings. Every week you send outreach without checking what companies are actively hiring for, you're missing the most openly available demand signal in B2B. A job posting is not a company looking for an employee. It is a company making a public admission about an exact problem they are trying to solve. When a company posts a job, they have already done several things. They have identified a gap. They decided the gap is big enough to have a budget for. They assigned someone to write out the exactly what they need and why they need it. That job description is a brief. Most people in B2B, never open it. Think of it like this. Okay, you are looking for people who are actively hungry. You can knock on random doors and hope someone hasn't eaten, or what you could do is you could actually walk up to people already standing in a line outside a restaurant. That behavior tells you that the decision is already made. You're not convincing them to eat, you're just offering them a specific table. So here is how this maps for different services. If you run a recruitment agency, the job posting is a direct buying signal. Obviously, don't just rely on one of them, but see, it's a direct buying signal. The company has a live vacancy. You reach out to the hiring manager, not the HR, with one message. You have vetted candidates ready, no cost unless they hire. Is it worth a conversation? That is the entire message. The posting has told you what the exact role is. the urgency is already there. You are not creating need right now, right? You're actually arriving when the need already exists. Now, obviously, there are multiple things to take care of, but this is just the forefront of it. If you run a content or marketing agency, a company posting for a social media manager or content lead is telling you that they are trying to build that function, right? You position your team as the alternative to that hire. Fast to start, no benefits to pay, no ramp up time, no severance if it doesn't work out. You reference the job description to show you that you have read it. So you're not pitching a service, you are offering a solution to the exact problem they just described in writing. If you run a cold email or a sales agency, a company posting for a sales development representative is showing you that they want a pipeline and they believe the answer is headcount. You reach out and offer to deliver what the SDR was supposed to deliver, but faster. The posting is the brief, your service is the alternative. If you run any kind of operations, finance, or HR adjacent service, same logic, right? A startup posting for a CFO is a company that needs financial infrastructure. A company posting for an HR manager is scaling people operations and needs support right now. The role they are hiring for tells you the exact problem they are trying to solve. That is your angle every single time. Now, here is something you're probably not going to hear anywhere else, because it comes from watching this play run across multiple markets at scale. The best time to reach out to a company is not when they post a job. It is before they post the job. The moment a job goes live, everyone with a scraper sees it. 15 recruiters, 3 agencies, half a dozen service providers are already in that company's inbox within hours, right? The signal is real, but you know what? The competition is brutal. So how do you get there first? There are 2 ways. First, ATS detection. And ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System, and it's a software companies install to manage their hiring. It can be Greenhouse, Lever, Workable, any of those. If a company just installed one of these in the last 60 or 90 days, they are preparing to hire, right? They have not posted jobs yet. They are building the infrastructure. You can detect recent ATS installations using a tool called BuiltWith, which tracks technology stack changes across company websites. A company that just installed Greenhouse has no internal recruiter on their team. A company that just installed Greenhouse and has no internal recruiter on their team is your exact target window. They are about to start posting. You can get there first. Number 2, employee departure signals. When a key employee leaves a company, there is an immediate gap. Most companies do not post the replacement jobs for weeks, sometimes even months. That window between the departure and the public posting is where the urgency is the highest and the competition is lowest. Here is how to find all of those. You can use Clay. In Clay, what you can do is you run a find people from LinkedIn search. You filter by maximum months in current role, set to 2 months or less. That gives you people who recently changed the jobs. You enrich their profiles to get their full experience timeline. You filter out their current employer and look at where they just came from. You check the end date at their previous company. Anyone who left in the last 1 or 3 months is your signal. You then find the exact decision maker at the company they left and reach out to them with just one message. Like, you just notice someone has recently moved on from their team. You can help them replace them. You can do it in 14 days or 15 days or 2 weeks, right? That company did not even know that they were a lead, but they have active pressing need and they are not being contacted by anyone yet. So the scraping mechanics for job postings. LinkedIn Job is the most accessible source. You search the role title and that relates to a service. You filter for the posts from the last 7 to 30 days. And I think Appify has an advanced LinkedIn job scraper that pulls this automatically. You input your search URL and your session cookie from, I think, LinkedIn, and you get the company name, company website, job description, employee type, salary range, and job title. And I think you get the hiring manager information too, a few of them. But yeah, you get all of these information, right? You take that, export into Clay. The first thing you run is a filter to remove staffing and recruitment firms from those results. They post jobs consistently on behalf of their clients. You want the actual company doing the hiring, right? You run a simple AI prompt in Clay against the company name and description. It outputs yes or no on whether this is a staffing firm or not. You filter out the yeses in the rows. Okay. Then you run the job description through a separate AI prompt. The goal is to extract what the company actually needs, not just what the role title says. The output sounds like this. From the job description, it looks like you needed someone who can do this specific thing. That inference becomes the opening line for your outreach. Okay, it shows them that you read it. It shows you understood it. It shows you reached out with a specific reason. To find the exact decision maker, you take your list of company domains, paste them into Apollo, set your job title, include and exclude filters, and run a contact search. For the include list, ask ChatGPT, give me every job title variation for the hiring authority at a company of this size hiring for this role. It gives you 30 to 40 titles you would have not thought of. For excludes, you remove the HR, talent acquisition, recruiters, coordinators, everything, okay? They are not the boys you're looking for. You export all of those contacts using Apify's Apollo scraper or any other lead scraper. You bring them into Clay, you run a decision maker ranking prompt, give this person's job title, the company size, and the role being hired for, rank them 1 to 10, how likely they are to be the actual hiring authority. Filter for 8 and above, and you now have a short, high confidence list of the exact people to contact. Before anything goes out, you verify every email address. Mail Tester Ninja integrates directly with Clay. Run it on every address. Filter for accepted status only. Unverified addresses burn your sender reputation. A bounced email damages your deliverability on every future send from that domain. Do not skip this, okay? So signal 2, social media activity. Someone's follower count on LinkedIn or their posting frequency on TikTok is not vanity data. It's a behavioral signal. It tells you that they have already decided that online presence is worth investing in, and that prior decision makes them a fundamentally different prospect from someone who has never thought about it. Think about selling gym equipment. You could knock on random doors hoping someone wants to get fit. Or what you could do, you could set up outside a running trail at 6 a.m. and talk to people already lacing up their shoes. The behavior tells you the decision is already made. You're not converting them on the idea. You're offering a better tool for something they are already doing. This signal works best for content agencies, YouTube production services, short form agencies, LinkedIn ghostwriting, podcast productions, and PR. In Clay, what you can do is when you build a find people search, you can filter by minimum follower count on LinkedIn. 5,000 followers means someone is reasonably active. 10,000 means they are genuinely invested in their presence. You add your target job title, location, industry, all of those keywords. The list you get back is the people who have already proven that they care about their online audience. Your offer to help them grow is not a cold idea. It lands in a context where they already believe in it. For TikTok and Instagram, Apify has scrapers for both platforms. You set up your search criteria, run the scraper, and bring the output into Clay. You can pull recent post data, topic areas, post frequency, all of those. You now know what they talk about and how often, and not just if they are active or not. Now there are 2 directions for the outreach once you have this list. Direction 1. You reference what you saw on the platform directly. You name a specific post or topic. For example, you notice your recent post on this topic. If we could build a system that turns this into long-form YouTube content that generates leads, would that be worth a conversation? Now, this is a very simple thing, but you can obviously build on this, right? This works when a specific post is genuinely relevant and you can tie it to a concrete outcome. Direction 2. You use the social media data as a targeting filter only and do not mention the platform in the message at all. You know they are already invested in their presence. You use that knowledge to qualify the list. The message goes straight to the offer. A PS line at the end carries a result from a similar client. See, here's the honest reality on both directions. Calling out the specific platform does not automatically make the email better. What makes it better? That you are sending it to a more relevant person. The activity is the filter, not necessarily the hook, right? Test both. Let the reply rates tell you which one your market actually responds to. Okay? So, signal 3. Active public requests. Every day, founders and operators publicly post that they need your service. They post it on LinkedIn, they post it on Reddit, they post it on Twitter, which is now X. And almost nobody who sells that service is reading those posts. Most B2B operators are doing the equivalent of knocking on random doors, hoping that someone needs what they sell. But the thing is, 2 streets over, there is an open market where people are standing with signs saying exactly what they are looking for. The person asking for help has already done most of the qualifying for you. They have named the problem, they have signaled urgency, they have made themselves findable. You just have to find them before anyone else does. Now see, there are 2 methods then on which you can do this. One is automated and the second one is manual. The automated one goes like this. You go to ChatGPT, Gemini or Perplexity. I'll prefer Gemini, but see, you have to enable the deep research one. Okay, you have to prompt it like this: find business owners who are actively posting that they need your help with this specific service, whatever you sell. Look on LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitter, indie hackers. Give me their company name, website, exact post where they mentioned that they need help. Let that run for 15 to 20 minutes. What comes back is a list of companies that have publicly stated that they need what you sell. You take those domains, run them through an email finder like Hunter or LeadMagic, target the founder or decision maker by title, verify the email, send one message that references what you saw. The reply rates here are categorically different from standard cold outreach. When someone has publicly asked for help and you show up with the help, you are not interrupting their day. You're answering a question they have already asked. On top of this, you can build systems that can actually scrape LinkedIn, Twitter, or Reddit, particular subreddits or particular LinkedIn accounts or particular LinkedIn groups or whatever, and it can scrape everything every day or every 2 weeks or every 1 week or every 2 days, so that you have an active flow of whoever people are actively asking for help about your particular service or not. You can build automations and everything around that. Now the manual method is LinkedIn comment mining. You go on to LinkedIn and search for posts in your service category. Things like looking for a content agency or anyone have recommendations for cold email help. You find posts where people are asking for recommendations. Then you read the comments. People comment and say yes, I need this too, or same situation, would love a referral. Every one of these people is a self-identified buyer. You visit their profile, find their company and reach out directly referencing that exact post that they commented on. The message something goes like this: saw you comment on this exact post. This is exactly what we help with. Is this worth a quick conversation? The context is already there. You're not introducing yourself cold, right? You're responding to something that they said publicly. Now, obviously, manual comment mining is slow. 5 to 10 qualified leads per hour of work, right? But the quality is extremely high. For high ticket services where one deal justifies hours of research, this is worth running consistently. Now, here is a delivery approach for the outreach that very few people are using, and it specifically solves a problem that kills reply rates on standard cold email. When you send a cold email with multiple links embedded in the body, most email clients treat it as a deliverability flag. You land in spam. Obviously, the problem is that if we want to show a prospect something concrete, a sample, a prototype, a relevant resource, you need links. And the links hurt deliverability when they come from your inbox. The workaround is this: instead of sending from your inbox with links inside, you create a Google Doc. You put your message in the document. You put your links and asset inside the document. Then you share the document to the prospect's email address as a commenter. What gets delivered to their inbox is a Google notification. It comes from Google servers. There are no links or penalties or spam filter triggers. There's nothing like that, right? The title of the document is what they see in the notification. Okay. You name it something directly tied to the problem that they posted about. They open it because it looks like a legitimate document share. Your message and your assets are inside. Now see, this is something that can work, that cannot work. You have to figure it out on your own. But this is a side thing that you can obviously try. Okay, this is especially powerful if your service involves building something. Tools like Lovable can generate a prototype of what a prospect described in their post in under an hour. Okay, hour is a lot. In a few minutes, in fact, right? You build a demo of their exact idea. You share it through the Google Doc method. You outreach. Your outreach is not a pitch. It's a delivery. You show up with something that they can actually use. That changes the entire dynamic of the first interaction. So, Signal 4, traction signals. Traction signals tell you a company is in growth mode before they have publicly announced it. They show up in behavior. If you know what to look for, you can reach a company while it is accelerating instead of after it has already made all of its buying decision. Think of how a skilled tracker works in an unfamiliar terrain. They do not walk randomly hoping to find animals, right? They read the trail. Fresh footprints, bent grass, disturbed soil. Those signs tell them something was here recently and is probably still nearby. They go where movement demonstrably happened, not where animals might theoretically be. Traction signals are footprints. They tell you a company is in motion right now, even if they have not made any public noise about it. So there are 4 traction signals that apply across almost any B2B service. The first one, recent funding. A company that just closed a funding round has budget to deploy and a mandate to grow. They are not deciding whether to spend money or not. They are deciding where to spend it. Pre-seed and Series A companies are especially receptive because they are building functions they have never had before. Marketing, sales, recruiting, operations, finance. Your pitch is not, buy my service. Your pitch is, you just raised capital. Here is how we can help you deploy it into something that compounds. Perplexity with deep research enabled can pull a list of recently funded companies in your target market. You specify funding stage, geography, headcount, and industry. It outputs company names, websites, funding amounts, funding dates, industry, everything. You download it as a CSV, upload it into Clay, and run contact enrichment to find the exact decision maker by job title inside each company. Number 2, ad spend signals. A company actively running paid ads on Meta or Google is already in customer acquisition mode. They have decided growth is worth paying for. If you sell anything related to outbound lead generation, sales infrastructure, or CRM, this is a strong signal. They are not debating whether to invest in growth or not. They are already investing. Your offer is positioned as something that extends or complements what they are already doing. So there's a tool called AdIntel which detects companies in your list that are running active Meta ads or active Google ads, how many ads they are running, how many unique landing pages are associated with those ads, and what the ad content actually looks like. You integrate it with Clay using an API key and run it against your existing lead list. Companies with high ad activity are in growth mode. Companies with high ad activity and no outbound infrastructure are the exact combination to prioritize. Number 3, headcount growth. A company that grew its team by 20% in the last 90 days is in fundamentally different operational situation than a company that has been flat for a year. Growth creates pressure. They need more systems, more tools, more services to support the team they are building. So see, Clay has a native enrichment called Find Company Headcount Growth. You run it against the list and get company count as at like 1 month, 3 months, 6 months ago, plus the percentage change at each interval. You filter for companies showing a consistent upward curve over time. You can also go one level deeper and track growth by departments. So Clay's Find Employee Headcount by job title, it lets you track how much a specific function has grown. If a marketing department doubled its last quarter, the person running that department has a bigger operation and almost certainly has a bigger budget. Before you run this search, ask ChatGPT to give you every job title that falls under the department you are tracking. Marketing alone covers content, design, growth, demand generation, brand, and many more. If you only search for the word marketing in the title, you miss a significant portion of the department. Number 4, LinkedIn Sales Navigator intent filters. Most people use Sales Navigator for basic prospecting and never go deeper, right? The intent filters inside it are where the actual value is. Posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. This gives you a decision makers who are currently active and publishing content. They care about their presence. They're building something publicly. Change jobs in the last 90 days. Someone who just started a new role has a new mandate, a new budget, and almost always new problems to solve. They are not locked into how things were done before. They are building from scratch. Your timing is exact. A company is hiring. Companies flagged as hiring in Sales Navigator are in growth mode. This overlaps with the job posting signal but gives you a faster filter without needing to run a separate scrape. If a company follows your company, if someone follows your LinkedIn page, they are already aware of you. They have self-selected. A direct message to this person is not cold. You already exist in their awareness. Filter by connected in the last 90 days and this gets warmer. Someone who recently accepted your connection request and follows your page has shown two separate interest signals. The message to them is as simple as what made you connect. Simple as that. That one question has opened conversations that turned into significant deals. So, signal 5. Before any of this reaches someone's inbox, getting the signal right and then reaching the wrong person inside the company is one of the most expensive mistakes in outreach. Because it doesn't just waste the lead, it closes the door, right? If the wrong person gets the message, they don't know what to do with it. They ignore it or maybe forward it to HR files it, the lead is gone. Just gone. Imagine you have a package that needs to reach the CEO of the company. You walk into the building and hand it to the first person at the front desk. They say they'll pass it along. Now you leave. That package sits in the stack of deliveries. The CEO never knew it arrived. You walked away thinking you delivered it. Outreach to the wrong person is that package. So, here is how you identify the exact decision maker by company size. For companies under 50 employees, the hiring manager or budget owner is almost always the founder or CEO. There is usually no layer between the decision and the authority. If they have a job posted, the founder is likely the one who needs it to be filled. For companies between 50 to 500 employees, it depends on the function. Tech need, CTO or VP of engineering. Marketing function, head of marketing or CMO. Sales function, VP of sales or CRO. Not the founder unless the company is still in early stage. For companies above 500 employees, the C-suite is usually not making the specific buying decisions on your service. You want the department head or the director level. The CMO at 500-person company is not approving a content agency. The director of content or VP of brand is. Get specific. Here is the enrichment process that you can try. You take your list of company domains and paste them into Apollo. For the job titles include list, you ask ChatGPT to give you every title variations for the hiring authority at a company of this specific size for this specific function. It gives you 30 to 40 titles you would not have thought of. For excluding, you remove HR, talent acquisition, recruiters, and coordinators. They are not your buyers. You export those contacts from Apollo using API's Apollo scraper. You bring them into Clay. You run a ranking prompt such as like this, given this person's job title, the company size, and specific need identified from the signal. Rank from 1 to 10 how likely this person is to be the actual decision maker. Filter from 8 and above. You now have a short, high confidence list. Last step, email verification. You can use Mail Tester Ninja, which integrates directly into Clay. Run it on every email address in your filtered list. Keep only addresses with accepted status. Anything else just gets cut out. This step is not optional if you want the system to work long term. So signal 6, stacking everything together. Each signal on its own improves your targeting. But when you layer 2 or 3 signals on the same company, you are no longer doing cold outreach. You're doing something closer to precision routing. And the math changes significantly at that exact point. Think about how a weather forecast works. Temperature alone tells you something. But temperature plus humidity plus wind speed plus barometric pressure gives you a forecast you can actually rely on. A meteorologist working on one data point is just guessing. A meteorologist working from 4 is modeling. Signal stacking is the difference between guessing who might need your service and knowing which companies are almost certainly in buying window right now. So here is how you stack signals in practice. You build your lead list. You run it through Clay, you run multiple enrichments in parallel, add intel for ad activity, headcount growth check, ATS detections, open job posting check. Each enrichment adds a column. Each column is a data point. When you write conditional logic across all of those columns, if a company is running active meta ads and is also hiring for an SDR role, they go into one message sequence. Your angle is about outbound as a complement to their paid acquisition. If a company is running ads but is not hiring for a sales role, different sequence, different angle. If company is hiring for an SDR but has no active ad spend, different sequence again. Your message is about outbound as their primary channel. Each signal combination routes each company into the outreach that matches what the data shows about their exact situation. You are not sending one message to everyone on the list. You're routing each company into the right conversation based on what is actually happening inside their business. Now, the math of this exact system. You start with a pool of companies showing at least one verified intent signal. From the pool, you filter confirmed decision makers with verified emails. Typically, 40 to 60% of the original list makes it through depending on market size and company size. From there, reply rates on signal matched outreach run between 4 to 6%. Compare that to below 1% on generic cold emails. From replies, booked meeting convert at around 30%. So from 1000 signaled qualified companies, you get let's say 400 to 600 verified contacts, 20 to 60 replies, and 6 to 18 meetings. That math is predictable. It is not a guess, it is a model. And you can run the same model every single week with a fresh batch of companies showing fresh signals. But here is where most people stop too early. Email alone is not the full system. A single email to a verified contact generates roughly a 3% response rate on average. A phone call alone around 2%. A LinkedIn message alone around 5%. When you coordinate all three in a sequence, the combined response rate moves to around 10 to 12%. That is not three separate chances. The combination multiplies because different people respond to different channels, and reaching someone across three touchpoints signals that you are a real person with a real and specific reason to reach out. This can be the sequence. Day 1, email plus a LinkedIn profile view. Day 2, LinkedIn connection request. Day 3, phone call and a voicemail. Day 5, second email. Day 7, LinkedIn message. Day 9, a phone call. Day 11, third email with a relevant result or resource. Day 14, comment on the LinkedIn post. Day 16, a final phone call. Day 18, a fourth email. Day 21, final LinkedIn message. This is not aggressive, okay? This is not aggressive. Each touch point is a different channel. Each one adds context rather than just following up on the previous one. The combined result is categorically different from email alone. Now the copy. There are two directions that you can pick. Pick based on how specific and useful the signal is. The first direction, reference the signal directly. You name what you saw, you connect it to what you are offering. For a job posting, notice that you are hiring for a sales development representative. For a funding round, congratulations on the recent Series A. For ad spend, notice that you are scaling Meta pretty aggressively. Then you move immediately into what you can deliver and why it is relevant to what they are specifically doing. Short, specific, and one clear call to action. The second direction, use the signal as your targeting filter but go straight to the offer in the message. You do not mention how you found them, you just lead with the offer and let the relevance do the work. A PS line at the end carries the social proof. The PS line matters more than most people think. Most people bury their best proof inside the email body where it gets skimmed over. A PS line at the end of a short email gets read separately. It lands with more weight because it sits outside the main flow. One PS line, one result, one specific number. It can be something like this. PS, ran this for a company that was scaling Meta ads hard. Pulled their average cost per call from $375 to $197. That's it, nothing more, right? One note on social proof in the email body itself. In some markets, proof in the body makes the message feel more like a sales email, which triggers skepticism rather than interest. If you're reaching a sophisticated buyer who gets pitched constantly, lead with the offer and put the proof in the PS. If you're reaching someone who needs credibility before they will engage at all, a brief before and after in the body works better. Test both. Your market will tell you exactly what they are expecting and what they need. So here is what all of this actually comes down to. Most outreach fails because of one mistake. The company on the other end of the message has no reason to care about what you sell at the specific moment. And no amount of clever copy, better subject lines, or more follow-ups changes that. You cannot word your way out of bad timing. 6 signals in this video solve the timing problem directly. Okay? Job postings tell you who has an active gap right now. ATS detection and employee departure signals get you there before the gap is even public. Social media activity tells you who already believes in what you sell. Public request tells you who has already asked for help out loud. traction signals tell you who has budget moving and operational pressure building. And when you stack 2 or 3 of these on the same company, you are not doing cold outreach anymore. You are doing targeted contact with companies that have verifiable, current, specific need. The process is straightforward. Pick the signals that match your service, monitor them on a consistent schedule, find the exact decision makers inside each company, verify the email, write one message that shows you read the signal, run a coordinated multi-channel sequence. There is no trick here. There is no shortcut that bypasses the work. What makes this different from standard cold outreach is not a secret. It is just earlier and more precise. You are arriving at the right company at the right moment with the right message to the right person. Everything else in outreach is downstream of that. If you want us to build and run a signal-driven market access system that generates 10 plus extremely intentional conversations with the exact kind of people that you want to talk to, who have the urgency, budget, and the authority to make a decision, then just book in a call below and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.